Welcome to the City of Bakersfield Planning Commission meeting. This television broadcast is brought to you by the local cable companies, the County of Kern, and the City of Bakersfield. You can watch the rebroadcast of this meeting Saturday at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 10 a.m. You can download the agenda for this meeting at www.bakersfieldcity.us. Presiding over this evening's meeting, Chair Daniel Cater.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to call to order the December 6, 2008 Planning Commission meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Cater.
Here.
Commissioner Bell. Commissioner Coleman.
Here.
Commissioner Lomas.
Here.
Commissioner Rudnick.
Here.
Commissioner Wade.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for attending tonight's Planning Commission meeting. This commission provides an opportunity for public participation in the development process throughout the City of Bakersfield. The Planning Commission considers a wide variety of projects, including subdivision maps, zone changes, general plan amendments, and more. When applications are received, the City Planning Division analyzes the request. Planning staff will present the facts about the project, along with their recommendation to the Planning Commission, who will approve the item or make a recommendation as appropriate. Our goal is to carefully consider each project and make a decision that will balance individual rights with public welfare and the general well-being of our community. We will now receive public statements. This time is reserved for anyone who wishes to address the Commission on a matter not on the consent calendar public hearing portion of the agenda. If you are here to speak on items 5A through 5L, this is not the time to speak. Does anyone in the audience wish to address the Commission? If so, please come forward and state your name. Seeing no one coming forward, we will move on to consent calendar non-public hearing items. These items typically involve housekeeping or administrative matters that do not require a public hearing. Does any commissioner wish to remove a consent calendar non-public hearing item for separate consideration? Commissioner Coleman.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Oh, we're just pushing to speak.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just heard the noise.
No, I meant to push that button, but okay.
All right, if not, may I have a motion to adopt staff?
Well, no, I do have, I did meant to push the button to ask to talk, so now I'm talking. Okay, here we go.
Commissioner Coleman, please proceed. Yeah.
Well, I just want to clarify that item 5F is continued until January. Is that the recommendation at this point?
Commissioner Coleman, we're on item
We're on item
4
4.
still, so we'll get to that one next, and we'll
All
actually
right, well,
clarify.
call me when we're on item 5. I'm sorry.
All right. We are on item 4A. Seeing no commissioner wishing to pull item 4A, may I have a motion to adopt staff's recommendation on the consent calendar non-public hearing items? Go for it.
I'll recommend that we accept the consent calendar items 4A.
Okay, may I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rudnick. Madam Secretary, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cater.
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman.
Yes.
Commissioner Lomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Rudnick.
Yes.
Commissioner Wade.
Yes.
We will now move on to item 5, consent calendar public hearing items. The next agenda section includes public hearing items that are considered routine or non-controversial. These items have been reviewed by staff and are conditioned in accordance with the requirements of the municipal code. Staff is requesting that public hearing items 5C continue to the January 3rd, 2019 Planning Commission meeting. Because the item is on the agenda tonight, we will open the public hearing to provide anyone here wishing to speak on the item an opportunity to be heard. However, since this item will not be considered by the Commission tonight, you may wish to reserve your comments until these items are brought back before the Planning Commission on January 3rd. For the remaining items, or for all items, the Planning Director will read each of the items on the consent calendar to ensure that the public has an understanding of all items to be considered. If you would like to speak on an item, please come forward after the items are read and ask that the item be removed for discussion. If no items are removed by a member of the public or a commissioner, the commission will vote on all items together in one motion without further comment. Mr. Coyle, will you please present the items on the consent calendar public hearing agenda tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have a very full agenda this evening, starting with Project 5A, which is an extension of time for vesting tentative tract map 6297, a request for 3 more years to develop 316 lots on 81.1 acres for single-family residential development located at the northwest corner of South Sterling Road and Red Bank Road. Project 5B is an extension of time for vesting tentative parcel map 11989, which is a request for 3 more years to develop 3 parcels for future single-family residential and church development on 26.08 acres located at the northwest corner of Old Farm Road and Reyna Road. Project 5C is vesting tentative tract map 7335. Staff recommends the public hearing be continued to the January 3, 2019 meeting. This project is a request to subdivide 40.73 acres into 117 single-family residential lots located south of Pensinger Road, east of South Allen Road. Project 5D is vesting tentative tract map 7247, which is a request to subdivide 57 acres into 103 single-family residential lots located at the southwest corner of White Lane and Windermere Street. Project 5E is vesting tentative tract map 7337, which is a request to subdivide 53.71 acres into 254 single-family residential lots located at the southeast corner of Panorama Drive and City Hills Drive. Project 5F is a revised plan development review 18-0065, which is a request for a revised plan development review to allow 112 4,000 square foot lots and 142 5,400 square foot lots for single-family residences on 53.71 acres in a planned unit development zone district located at the southeast corner of Panorama Drive and City Hills Drive. Project 5G is a comprehensive sign plan 18-0400, which is a request for a comprehensive sign plan for the Crossroads Business Park located on Young Street, south of Harris Road and north of Panama Lane. Project 5H is a general plan amendment zone change 16-0455, which is a proposal to approve a change to 1, the general plan designation from low-density residential to general commercial on 6.66 acres at the southwest corner of Hosking Avenue and South H Street, and 2, to change the zoning classification on that same parcel from one-family dwelling to regional commercial / planned commercial development. Project 5I is a general plan amendment zone change 18-318, which is a proposal to change 1, the general plan designation from low-medium density residential to general commercial on 6.938 acres and general commercial to low-medium residential on 6.938 acres between Stockdale Highway, Stockdale Ranch Road, Legis, and Heath Roads. And 2, change the zoning classification on that same parcel from limited multiple family dwelling to regional commercial, and from regional commercial to limited multiple family dwelling. Project 5J is a general plan amendment 18-0349, which is a proposal to change the general plan designation from low-medium density residential to high-medium density residential on 24.33 acres located at the southeast corner of Panama Lane and Reliance Drive. Project 5K is a general plan amendment, zone change 18-356, which is a proposal to change the general plan designation from low-density residential to public-private schools on 2.15 acres, and resource-intensive agriculture to parks and recreation on 16.53 acres, located at the southwest corner of Berkshire Road and Mountain Ridge Drive, and 2, change the zoning classification from A20A to single-family residential on 12.97 acres, and A-20A to open space on 16.53 acres. And finally, Project 5L is a general plan amendment number 18-0358, which is a request to clean up the circulation plan map that includes proposed changes to the mapped alignment and classification of planned freeways, collector roads, and arterial roads. This concludes my reading of the projects on tonight's agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coyle. Before I open the consent calendar public hearing items, Commissioner Lomas, do you have something to say, or I notice your button is blinking.
I will have to conflict out of one item, that's it.
Okay,
And whenever you're ready.
okay. Do you,
That would be 5B.
okay.
And so my vote would reflect everything but 5B.
Thank you, Commissioner Lomas.
Thank you.
At this time, I will open all of the consent calendar public hearing items. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on a consent calendar public hearing item? Again, this is not the time to take testimony, only time to wish that it, or to request that it's moved to the public hearing portion of the evening. Seeing no one from the audience, is there any commissioners that wish to move a consent calendar public hearing item? Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you. Now that we're on number 5.
Now is the time.
When you, Mr. Coyle, when you read the agenda on 5F, has that been moved to being continued to January 17th?
Our recommendation would be that Project 5F be referred back to staff so that the project could be renoticed to continue at a future date.
I don't know if this is the appropriate time to comment, but there was a supplement letter on 5E that seemed to, the text of his email seemed to more apply to 5F. So I guess my question is, if you're going to defer it for staff to review 5F, can they re-review that email on 5E to be sure that that particular person wasn't referring to that? Because he referred in his letter to the 4,000 square foot lots, and that really didn't exist on 5E.
Yes, Commissioner, we will
Thank
review
you.
that.
Okay, so I'm going to ask to have items 5G, K, and L off the consent calendar, please.
Are there any other commissioners wishing to remove a consent calendar public hearing item? If not, I would like to remove item 5D for further discussion. Seeing no other commissioners request, at this time, public hearing on all consent calendar public hearing items not removed are now closed. May I get a motion to adopt staff's recommendation on the consent calendar items A, B, C, E, F, H, I, J, and J, with Commissioner Lomas abstaining from item 5B.
I'll make a recommendation what he said.
I'll second that.
Great. And then one clarification, Mr. Egger. Since item 5F is currently listed as approval, do we need to make a special motion to refer?
Incorporating staff's
Oh,
new recommendation.
Okay. So incorporating staff recommendation, you make a motion?
Yeah, okay.
Commissioner Wade, Commissioner Coleman, and then Commissioner Wade is the second. Madam Clerk, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cater,
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Lomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Rudnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wade.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to the public hearing portion of the item of the evening. At this time, it is now time to hear consent calendar public hearing items removed from that portion of the agenda. Before we begin, I want to explain how each hearing will be conducted. Staff will first give a report, then those in favor of the project will be allowed to speak. Those in opposition to the project will be able to first give a report, then those in favor of the project will be allowed to those in opposition to the project will be able to speak after those in favor have spoken. Each side will be given 5 minutes to provide rebuttal comments. Individual speakers may ask questions during their statements, but the questions will not be answered until the public hearing on that item is closed. Written comments may be given to the clerk, who will provide copies to the commission. Please be respectful of others participating in the hearing by not repeating the remarks of previous speakers and presenting any new comments or thoughts in a concise and clear way. Mr. Coyle, would you please provide us your staff report on item 5D?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if you could just give me a few minutes to advance the slides, please.
Of course.
Project 5D, vesting tentative tract map 7347. The project is located at the southwest corner of White Lane and Windermere Street in southwest Bakersfield, within Village F of the West Ming Specific Plan. Porter and Associates, Inc., representing Bolthouse Land Company, LLC, and Woodbridge Pacific Group, LLC, is proposing to subdivide 57 acres into 103 single-family residential lots and various landscape and utility lots in a West Ming limited multifamily dwelling zone. Project proposes a private gated street, single-family residential development, and an 8.2-acre public park site for Village F residences. The park is currently under construction. Residential lots will range in size from 10,800 square feet to 23,026 square feet, and the typical lot size is 90 feet wide by 140 feet deep, which would give you a 12,600 square foot lot. The net density is 3.28 single-family dwelling units per net acre. The applicant requests several lot and street design deviations from city standards, including private streets, reverse corner lots, double frontage lots, and non-radial and non-perpendicular lot lines throughout the subdivision. These requests are typical of single-family subdivisions based on sound engineering practices and efficient subdivision design. A memo related to condition number 25 was provided to the Commission. The water well site located at the southwest corner of White Lane and Windermere intersection is no longer needed by the city's Water Resources Department. The condition is recommended to be amended to accommodate the sale of the water well lot back to the developer and incorporate the lot as a residential lot within the subdivision. Staff recommends approval incorporating staff's memo.
Thank you, Mr. Coyle. The public hearing on this item is open. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of the project? If so, please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and proceed.
Hello, my name is Freddie Porter with Porter & Associates Engineering, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have about the project.
Thank you. This time, I'll welcome anyone else wishing to speak in favor. Seeing no one else, is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in opposition to the project? If so, please come forward, state your name, and proceed. Seeing no one, I will move on to commissioner comments or commissioner questions for the public and staff on this item. Remember, this is not a time to express any opinions, just ask questions. Since I pulled the item, I do have questions, but I'll let any member of the commission. All right. My question was pertaining to the memo that we received around 3 o'clock today. Yes. There were a few items that were conditioned as a condition of approval that were removed, and it's kind of a question for the project applicant as well as staff. My question really pertains to condition 6.2, the removal of the implementation and compliance with the complete streets policy. So I guess my question is, yes, Commissioner.
Well,
Mr. Coyle?
Chairman Cater, as we discussed this afternoon, this project is located in the West Ming specific plan area. The West Ming specific plan has street standards that go above and beyond standards that would apply throughout other areas of the city. There are cross sections and illustrations within the West Ming plan that indicate that sidewalks and landscaping to a very high standard is to be provided throughout the development.
Okay. Well, I guess, and this is where it gets tricky, phrasing questions and not providing comments. But, and so I will maybe defer my comments to when I can give my, yeah, because it's all in one. So I will. There's no one else wishing to speak. Seeing no one, I will. Oh, yes. Thank you.
I can provide a little more information on that one.
Thank you.
The West Ming specific plan also has a development agreement between the developer and the city, and that agreement predates the complete streets policy. The developer is going to build complete streets in this development. It's just that the condition itself has previously been determined that because the development agreement predates that condition should be removed. So it's not deviating anyway from a nice standard that the city has. They're going to build all the sidewalks, the bike lanes, everything that goes with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Commissioner Lomas has a question.
I would like staff or the applicant to speak to deleting 5.6.
So that was a boilerplate condition that we had in there, but the applicant, the project developer, they recently constructed a sewer diversion structure at the intersection of Buena Vista and White Lane. So that's the mitigation that they did, and that's what, why we removed this condition. They did it that summer, you might have noticed, if you went by there this summer.
Okay. That's it. Thank you. All right, Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you. My question regarding this plan is the conveyance of the lot that's owned by the Water Resources. Is that a gift to the developer, or is there compensation in there, or what's the deal on that?
This was not done how the city usually does it. Usually we would buy the lot now, but for reasons that I don't know, predates me, we purchased the lot back when it was raw land and used meets and bounds instead of a lot description. And it was determined that water doesn't need it anymore, so we typically sell it back to the developer. We don't just give it back. Fair market value. We do an independent appraisal to get the dollar amount to sell it back to them.
And there'll be some oversight of that by the city council when they approve it, or when is that?
Yes, the disposition of city property goes through city council typically, as long as it exceeds a dollar threshold, which this lot should.
All right, thank you.
Okay, seeing no other questions, I will now close the public hearing on this item and return to the commission for comment and action. So, are there any, I will give fellow commissioners a chance to comment. All right, thank you much. So I guess my question is, my understanding of specific plans, and staff, please correct me, is they allow flexibility in the design and intent. They don't allow deviation of access or minimum requirements. And they also are not documents that they aren't the development plan, they're the intent to develop the development plan. And so my question is, if city's current standard is to provide close the gap between an existing sidewalk and a sidewalk proposed in a new development, that doesn't really seem like an issue of, because knowing this community, I do commend the applicant for creating a very dynamic streetscape, deviating from city standards to create a product that is very unique, I think, in the market. But this seems more about access and less about design, and so I guess I'm asking Public Works to clarify.
Well, on that last sentence on the condition 6.2 that got deleted, it says, one of our major conditions or points with this condition is that we like to not have gaps in the pedestrian walkways
Yes.
that are that are less than a quarter mile. So there won't be any gaps here. I mean, the White Lane, the south side of White Lane, the west side of Allen Road, the only gap in the sidewalk there is about a mile. So we can't expect them to put that sidewalk in with this project. That was why we wanted to delete this condition, because it wasn't really applicable. As far as the overall complete streets policy, like the applicant mentioned, there's a development agreement. And I don't know, every last detail of that development agreement, but in accordance with the Subdivision Map Act, policies that are enacted after that are not applicable to this project. So I'm not sure about the specific plan, but definitely with the development agreement.
Okay, well, and I think your statement that there are no gaps to fill, I mean, that kind of that appeases me, because if there's not an issue,
Yeah,
you shouldn't require-
this project is, moving west from Windermere, and then after this project, it's just farm fields, and even up Allen Road until you get to the canal closer to Ming, that's where the Highgate development's at. So this would not apply.
Okay, thank you. That addresses my concern. Thank you. Are there any comments on some of the other items mentioned? All right. Seeing no other commissioner comment requests, I will look for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Commissioner Lomas, may I have a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Wade, thank you. Madam Secretary, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cater,
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Lomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Rudnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wade.
Yes.
And just for the record, Commissioner Lomas, your motion was to approve it, adopting staff's memos that were sent to you today, and I don't have the date.
We've got two of
Two
them.
staff memos.
Do you need them dated
No,
and mentioned?
just the both staff memos.
Sure.
Sorry, I used all my
Thank
words
you.
on that last one. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, moving on to item 5G. Mr. Coyle, will you please present your staff report?
Item 5G, I think my heading is mislabeled. Comprehensive Sign Plan 18-0400. The applicant is The Wonderful Company. They are requesting a comprehensive sign plan for the Crossroads Business Park, which is generally located on Young Street, south of Harris Road, and north of Panama Lane in southwest Bakersfield. The business park is situated on 73 acres and approved for phased development of 94,800 square feet of commercial and industrial use in the general manufacturing zone. In the M2 district, signs are permitted subject to specific height, area, and quantity requirements. Any proposal to deviate from these requirements necessitates a comprehensive sign plan. A comprehensive sign plan is a program that may allow developers or business owners of shopping or business centers to request special consideration of signs that are specifically integrated into the overall architectural style or theme for that project. Because signs can play an important role in the overall site design in order to set it apart from other similar projects, a comprehensive sign plan can create an effect both desired and unique that will enhance the overall environment of the development. The applicant is requesting special consideration of pylon signs related to separation distance. Pursuant to the municipal code, pylon business signs are permitted 1 per street frontage. However, centers with over 1,000 feet of street frontage are allowed 1 additional pylon sign along the street with a minimum of 300 feet separation between the pylon signs. The street frontage along Harris Road and Panama Lane is approximately 1,250 feet. Therefore, 2 pylons are allowed on each street. As proposed, 2 pylon signs will be installed at the entrances onto Young Street with an 85-foot separation where 300 feet is normally required. All other signs within the business park will comply with the municipal code. No public comments have been received on this project. In light of the size of the business park and the limited number of proposed center identification signs, the requested deviations relative to the standards of the M2 zone are considered appropriate. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the comprehensive sign plan. This concludes the staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Coyle. The public hearing on this item is open. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of the project? If so, please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and proceed. Seeing no one from the audience wishing to speak, is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in opposition to the project? If so, please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and proceed. Seeing no one, since it's really just commissioner questions and comments, can I go ahead and close the hearing and move on to,
I guess if Commissioner Coleman has some questions, you may want to ask them while the hearing's open,
would you like to,
just in case it spurs comments from
the audience?
audience or someone else.
Understood. Does any commissioner have any questions for the public on this item? All right, Commissioner Coleman.
I'll just keep it real short. What is the public notice process for this sign plan? Has that been, what is the process for getting people's comments about this sign plan? You said you didn't receive any, but what is the notice process to solicit that?
It's the same as any other notification requirement. Property owners within 300 feet of the project site are notified. There was a publication in the Californian, and I believe notices are also posted in, pardon? No. Okay. I just meant in public areas. No. Okay. And occasionally, other signs are posted within city facilities announcing the public notice as well.
How is this sign plan in relation to other sign plans in the general vicinity there? I know a lot of this area is not developed yet, so I guess we're kind of setting a standard. And that's why I wanted to have this discussion, because, you know, there's probably a greater parcel of land still undeveloped, and if we're going to set this standard, I just want to be sure it's you know, comparable to other things we've been doing in that area.
Well, I believe,
I didn't know if that was a question or a statement, so
It got kind of close to both, yeah.
defer to the lawyer. Was that a question?
It's a question.
Okay.
We're good.
Yeah.
yeah, there are a few others in the area, but not many. But I believe all of these are taken on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other commissioner questions? Commissioner Rudnick.
You talked about a pylon sign, and I know what signs look like, but I've never called a sign a pylon sign. Can you give me an example, or do you have a picture of one so we can have a visual of what we're talking about?
Yeah. I believe it's on page 186 of the package
Okay,
Here,
Right in front of you.
and on the screen.
okay, good. Thank you. I guess I missed that. Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Any other commissioner questions before we close the public hearing and move on to comments and action? Seeing no other questions, I will now close the public hearing on this item and return to commission for comment and action. Commissioner Coleman?
I'll move.
Yeah, I'll
we-
make, okay. Hello.
do you want me to- I'll move we approve item G.
Thank you, Commissioner Rudnick. May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Coleman. Thank you. Madam Secretary, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cater,
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Lomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Rudnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wade.
Yes.
We will now move on to item 5K. Mr. Coyle, may you please provide your staff report?
thank you, Commissioners. Project 5K is General Plan Amendment Zone Change Number 18-0356. Project is located south of Berkshire Road, west of Mountain Ridge in southwest Bakersfield. The City of Bakersfield is requesting this proposal to provide consistency for the existing and future land use, as well as change the zoning to be consistent with adjacent properties and adhere to the objectives of the City of Bakersfield zoning ordinance. Currently, the properties are the last remaining parcels zoned as agriculture in the area. The proposal consists of an amendment of the land use element from low-density residential to public-private schools on 2.15 acres, and resource-intensive agriculture to parks and recreation on 16.53 acres. Additionally, the project would also call for a change in the zoning classification from agriculture 20-acre minimum lot size to one-family dwelling on 12.97 acres for the Miller Elementary School, and agriculture 20-acre minimum lot size to open space on 16.53 acres for a future public park. An initial study was conducted, and the project was found to have no significant environmental impacts. Therefore, a negative declaration was prepared and advertised. The school district is not opposed to the project, and staff has not received any public comment or opposition. Staff recommends approval of this project. That concludes the staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Coyle. The public hearing on this item is now open. Is anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of the project? If so, please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and proceed. Seeing no one, is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the project? If so, please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and proceed. Does any commissioner have any questions for the public on this item? Remember, this is not the time to express opinions, just ask questions. Commissioner Coman.
Yeah, my question is for staff, because I didn't read that in the subject line of that cover sheet. I didn't read about the Miller School, and I'm kind of responding to this letter that we received from the school requesting some land be allocated to them, but that didn't seem to be in the subject line of this, and so I didn't see that in there. But you read it in there when you read it just now, but when I read it, I don't see that in there. In item 5. I'm sure I'm looking at the right one. I'm looking at 5. Okay. 1018-3056. So did we amend that? To the Buena Vista Schools looking for expansion property for the Douglas J. Miller Elementary School. But you mentioned that when you read the brief, when you read the summary, but I don't see that in there. So did we change the summary sheet or did I miss it?
We're just changing the zoning, and
I understand that, but are we allowing for, because I didn't see where we were allowing for a zoning that would accommodate a school, and I think that's what the gentleman from the school.
That's the purpose of this application, is to make things consistent for the school.
PS public-private schools. Okay.
Can I ask a question to maybe answer that question? The memo we received today prior to the meeting was a request from the school district to allocate additional land for the school. Is that correct? Which is, as stated in the memo, not to be reviewed or discussed or not to be taken action by the planning department?
Commissioner Cater, that's correct. It appears that the school district did put the city of Bakersfield on notice that at some point in the future they may wish to expand to the south. However, this zone change process is not related to any expansion or sale of the property. That would be a future process where the school district could approach the city in the future to potentially inquire about purchase of the parkland for a school expansion. But as with the project we previously discussed, that would be a separate item on a separate agenda ultimately for council consideration.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying. Does Commissioner Coleman, do you have any follow-up questions?
So this change would allow a school to be built on that property, correct?
There may have to be additional zoning work done if they wish to expand in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other commissioner questions before we close the public hearing? Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing on this item and return it to the commission for comment and action. Are there any commissioner comments? Commissioner Coleman.
My only reason for pulling it off the consent calendar was to be, A, be sure there was a public discussion about it, but B, to clarify that, that there is an opportunity for the school district, if they have a need, that we'll have an opportunity to acquire more land if they need it. So I just wanted to make sure they weren't excluded, so.
Okay. Are there any other commissioners that wish to speak? If not, may I get a motion on this item?
Yeah, as soon as I pulled it off the agenda, I'll make a motion to approve item 5K, General Plan Amendment, Zone Change Number 18-0356.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Rudnick. Thank you. Madam Secretary, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cater,
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Lomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Rudnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wade.
Yes.
Our final item for the public hearing portion of the evening is item 5L. Mr. Coyle, would you please provide us your staff report?
This is General Plan Amendment 18-0358. The City Planning Division is requesting this general plan amendment. The project is a citywide cleanup of the circulation plan map of the Metropolitan Bakersfield General Plan, which includes changes to the mapped alignment and classification of planned freeways, collector roads, and arterial roads. The changes to the circulation element map are proposed to update the map to reflect existing conditions, prior general plan amendments, and projects undertaken by Public Works and the Thomas Roads Improvement Program. Staff concluded that the project is consistent with the policies as contained in the circulation element of the general plan. The project maintains the integrity of the circulation system and creates consistency between the circulation element and the circulation plan map. Staff recommends adopting the notice of exemption and approving the general plan amendment. This concludes my staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Coyle. The public hearing on this item is open. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of the project? If so, please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and proceed. Seeing no one from the audience, is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the project? If so, please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and proceed. Seeing no audience member, is there any commissioner have does any commissioner have questions for the public or staff on this item? Commissioner Coleman.
I just wanted to clarify, this is a cleanup plan amendment. Is this typical, something we do on a regular basis? It's the first time I've ever seen it, where we've done something like this.
Commissioner Coleman, since Kevin hasn't been with us for that long, I'll answer that question. I would say that it's not typical. Probably every 5 or 6 years or so, it's necessary to do something like this for the circulation element in particular. That's because the circulation element is all-encompassing of our entire road network throughout the city. And things do change over time, most notably with the TRIP program. Many of the freeways that have been shown on this circulation element for the last 20 years as a future freeway are now built. So most of this cleanup is simply updating the map to reflect those kinds of things.
So this is just a map change. There's no parcels affected, no plans affected?
That is correct. We are not changing any land use designations or anything like that. It's simply updating the circulation roadway network designations.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Lomas.
Just for understanding, it's kind of confusing to me when you're talking about the adding an interchange and deleting a freeway future at the connectivity between the new freeway and 99. Do you have anything that gives us a better visual of how that's going to connect 99 onto 58?
Commissioner Lomas, which one are you referring to? I'm looking at the map. Are you looking at?
Where it says C99, and then you
Right.
say add interchange, and then there's a circle with X's all around it, right in the center. So it's saying add an interchange and delete a freeway future. So is there
I see.
connectivity to 58 from 99?
No, that's actually to reflect the Centennial Corridor operational improvements that are currently being constructed in that area. As you know, the 58 once used to dead end into a shopping center.
Right.
And we
so-
are remedying that now, and this is intended to reflect that change.
And do you have a visual so that we know what it looks like? Because that's just a lot of X's.
No, we don't have that in this document. So the circulation
Oh, look at
element.
that one. Ah, thank you. Boy, I kept doing this.
Maybe we did include the trip maps.
1021? Thank you. Yay, thanks.
So it would be the trip program that actually goes into the level of design for what the interchange would look like.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Are there any other commissioner comments before we close the public hearing? Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing on item 5L and return to commission for comment and action. Commissioner Coleman.
I'll make a motion to approve item 5L, General Plan Amendment number 18-0358, and accept staff recommendations.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Rudnick. Madam Secretary, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cater,
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Lomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Rudnick,
Yes.
Commissioner Wade.
Yes.
Moving on to item 7, communications. Mr. Coyle?
First of all, I would bring to the commission's attention that our next scheduled meeting for the Planning Commission will be on January 3 of 2019. And just on a personal level, this has been a pretty dramatic year for me personally and professionally. It's been a pleasure working with this Planning Commission for the last 9 months, and I'm looking forward to working with you to accomplish more great things for the city of Bakersfield in the new year. So I would like to wish you and your families and friends and loved ones a very happy holiday season, and I look forward to getting back to work after the start of the new year. Thank you.
Thank you. I will move on to item 8, commissioner comments, and start by saying, Mr. Coyle, the feeling is mutual. We look forward, well, I'm speaking on behalf of everyone, but I assume that's okay. We look forward to working with you as well, and we are very proud as a commission of what we've been able to accomplish this year. Look forward to some exciting things in 2019. So to staff, thank you for always coming prepared and for this conversation we get to have every couple weeks. Thank you. Are there any other commissioner comments? All right. Then I will move to adjourn the meeting at 6:23.